The Orleans Parish Sheriff's Office says it is reviewing all of its paid detail policies and expects to have new rules and regulations in place after the first of the year.
This review comes after a joint investigation between Fox8 and The Lens raised questions about when and where some deputies work, the questionable chain of command, and how money is being spent from a detail fund. When the Orleans Parish Sheriff's Office hires out deputies for private security, each deputy is required to report the outside work and pay the Sheriff's Office $1 for every hour they work a paid detail. It covers the cost of using Sheriff's Office equipment. That's not uncommon, according to Raphael Goyeneche with the Metropolitan Crime Commission.
That $1 that's assessed by the Sheriff's Office is meant to recoup some of the public assets.
According to the Sheriff's Office budget, 165 of its nearly 700 deputies work paid details. That's 25% of the department. Records show, on average, they work more than 7,900 hours a month, close to 100,000 hours a year. So in 2011, roughly $100,000 will have gone into the Sheriff's Detail Fund account. It's discretionary money Sheriff Marlon Gussman can spend any way he sees fit.
Since it is a public fund, then the rules that apply to the use of public funds apply to that.
Records show some of the money has been spent on bulletproof vests. Almost $60,000 was paid out to the company Kelly and Abide for holiday-related T-shirts, aprons, and tote bags with the sheriff's logo on them. Gussman also spent $10,000 from the detail fund to buy 6,000 sets of these beads that his deputies sometimes hand out to the public when they work details. According to this receipt, the detail account paid for $100 worth of liquor for musicians who performed at the sheriff's annual Thanksgiving dinner. Bank records also show close to $10,000 worth of checks made out to cash from the fund to buy Starbucks gift cards and Ruth's Chris gift cards for employees of the month. The Attorney General has already said buying gift certificates for employees with public funds is illegal.
While that fund is not taxpayer dollars, it is public dollars, and as such, I believe, are governed by the rules that say that you can't use public funds inappropriately for things such as the purchase of alcohol, the awarding of gifts to employees.
A spokesperson for the Sheriff's Office says this letter from its auditing firm says employee awards are allowed. Mark Earhart also says the sheriff has reimbursed the account for the alcohol in an abundance of caution. Marjorie Essman with the ACLU calls it concerning.
The issue is whether public money that's being paid for people to maintain order in the prison is being abused.
But we had other questions about what the Sheriff's Office own files show. Of the 165 deputies working details, we looked at time cards and details scheduled for 14 of them over a 3-month period. The records for some of those deputies raise questions. Deputy Harlan Martinez is on the clock March 25th from 6:26 a.m. till 6:30 p.m. But his detail schedule shows him working 2 details that day, one at the Walgreens on Claiborne Avenue while he was clocked in at work. Another deputy, John Sens, was clocked in from 7 a.m. till 5 p.m. on March 10th. But it is also shown as working a detail for Woodward Construction at the jail construction site from noon till 8 that day.
It's one thing to have a set of rules on the books, but what we've learned from the NOPD and some other departments, if those rules aren't policed internally, then it creates an environment where abuse can occur.
The Sheriff's Office tells Fox8 it's investigating those instances, but that some of the detail records may not reflect the correct information about whether a detail was worked. Records also show some deputies making more working details than they do as prison guards, and some lower-ranking deputies doling out lucrative details to their superiors, turning the chain of command upside down. That's something the Justice Department blasted the NOPD for earlier this year.
Since the Justice Department is looking at everything that's going on in the jail, I would hope that they would take a look at this as well as part of the whole picture of why the security is so lax there.
Goyeneche says all of the issues raised are part of a bigger oversight problem. the sheriff needs to address.
One of the things that the sheriff's office needs to do a better job of is updating their rules and making sure that their rules are being applied and abided by their employees.
Sheriff Gussman's policy allows deputies to work up to 32 hours of details a week on top of their regular jobs. In March, the Justice Department expressed concern about officer fatigue at the NOPD, and its cap was lower. It was 28 hours a week. For much more on this story, just log on to thelensnola.org.